So that's been a very interesting change to conflict game mode. When a flag is being capped, it deactivates the spawns for the defender. And I think it's going to be a very interesting thing for conflict mode. It's a very precise change, but it's going to really change how conflict works, I think. So let's imagine you're on the Soviet side and you're defending military side here. Let's say you have a Russian squad in here fighting. And now the American side, they managed to get a group of infantry to the edge of the base. They have a fight with them here. And then spawning is deactivated. Now the defenders cannot just keep spawning in the base and behave like Terminators who have no sense of self-preservation, who just attack the enemy just to keep them out of the base, while the attacker has to get from some distance away to get back into the action. And I think this will lead to defending flags gameplay. I think it will lead to a change in player behavior. So it will, for example, instead of players treating a defensive area as a point they have to defend from capping, it will create like a certain front line with a depth behind it. So if defenders learn that if they get capped, they can't spawn in the base anymore, then they'll probably start preparing some type of where's the command track? No, that is. They would probably start preparing a defensive line behind the cap zone so they can keep spawning it. Because the thing that players want the most in this game is have easy and convenient spawns as close to combat as they can. And let's say they put a command track in here so they can keep pouring into the base. And that will, in turn will lead to the attacking team. They will know when they attack base like that they have to attack the rear area of their base to completely turn off the spawning. So they will have another squad perhaps starting going through the area, trying to attack suspected command posts where players can spawn in. Then the defenders now have the incentive to defend that command vehicle that's slightly behind the defense point. Then you'll probably see it's a Soviet machine gun team. And they will probably have players with machine guns or other bigger weapons trying to protect that thing in advance. So you have one team trying to get to the command track, the other team trying to defend the command track. And that will create its own small... It will create a new type of combat gameplay because players will now have this complex back and forth at the area behind the cap area. Now, I still think that they should change how spawning works in the game. I think I suggested it in previous videos a few times, is that allocation or spawning should only be possible in some built-up area. So there should be no command tracks in the wild like that. And it would require a command vehicle to get driven into that base to deploy it. They would probably deploy a tent above it or something, and then it would be an active spawn. So if it gets attacked, there's a fragile point that the attacker can choose to attack to deactivate spawning. And there should be different variants of spawn vehicles, like a command truck, or a command UAZ, or just a command character with a radio backpack on him. Because that would be the possibility to remove spawning from radio backpacks and turn them more into still a strategic asset, but not as because usually players really want to have an easy, convenient spawn all the time. And if the game gives that away too easily, it devaluates the importance of combat. And so you would have a command radio man, command UAZ, or command truck on the Soviet side, and you would have to deploy them in the base. And that would fortify the base, which would make it a spawn point. And depending how much players invest, whether they want a whole truck or just a smaller vehicle or just a guy with a backpack, it would have different spawning capabilities, like how many people can spawn per minute or how much it would cost per spawn. Because I think those changes are great, but as long as players can just put a backpack somewhere in the forest in the tree line to spawn a kilometer away without any visible logistics trail behind it, because nobody's going to notice a backpack in the middle of nowhere, it will always, I think, make combat too easy for the attacking team.